Hello, welcome back to the Speaking of Tea podcast, where you listen to me nerd out about tea, read you poetry, and talk about whatever it is that comes up. Oh, there is such an interesting time upon us. There's been so much talk about portals and shifting your reality and just transformative experiences that are going to lift you from whatever state you've been in some kind of a long cycle and transforming anew. And I'm feeling this energy. I am loving it. I'm glowing in it. I'm growing in it because there are growing pains. There are also moments of feeling like I'm just not going to make it happen. But then I absolutely am, because every step that I take along my path, along my journey, is leading me into a greater sense of becoming. I'll get deeper on that, but it has to do with what I've been talking about in these previous episodes with my poetry coaching. I have a new title, though. I am a poetry alchemist. It feels so good to say that. And then there's just been affirmation from the universe more and more that I should definitely use that word, that you should use alchemist. And the idea of these shifting changes in people's lives and these cycles, that there is some level of alchemy. And I love it because it also describes my process in writing a poem is, well, I don't know. There's no particular process. It's just when I'm inspired and when I do it, kind of thing. No, I mean, get a moment of inspiration and write the first word or line that appears in your mind, because that's what needs to arrive on page. Then you can tune in and write the other elements that are meant to be there, that describes the whole feeling of the whole experience, or the whole. Sometimes it's trying to explain a concept, could be philosophical and this and that, and then taking the elements together. How am I physically feeling? How am I thinking about a philosophy? What elements are there? Is it to do with a certain element? Is there fire? Is there water elements? And are there emotional elements? I mean, there's always an emotional element. That's usually why a poem needs to be a poem. Or if I'm not feeling that, but then someone else might read it and then relate to some emotional element that they are experiencing, and they relate to the words that didn't even cross my mind. I remember last summer someone picking up my poetry book at a vending table, and I wasn't standing there, so I write most of my stuff is in English. There are a few French poems or bits of French in them, but these were two French people. They picked it up and they were reading it, and they read English. But the way that I heard somebody describing this one poem, what's it called? It goes like, I will eat your reflection, devour both halves of you. What comes first? The light which presents the mirror's way, or the dark metal coating beneath? And yeah, there's definitely elements of like who you are on the surface and what presents, and then what's actually underneath that is behind, the shadow work, the inner darker self that does these other bits of work that still are a combination of who you are. But I really was just kind of literally talking about a mirror when I wrote it. I was actually just like physically looking at a mirror and thinking, oh, okay, we see the light that reflects the light. Sorry, mirror magic. There's such complexity and simplicity to a mirror that I don't think I can go there. But yes, the function of a mirror, it reflects you back, right? Okay. But then there's like the other part, like that holds that glass piece together. That's like some usually dark, could be metal or something, right? Like when we crack a mirror, it's not just glass that shatters. It's the dark. You're following? Okay, I think we got it. I was talking quite literally about that. I can't say I remember why I was talking about devouring both halves of you, but I don't know. Could be some demonic element. Who knows? Anyways, back to just hearing people reading it. Like, and I like just being a bystander and listening to that, because the way that I heard them, like, really going deep and describing it, it was like so interesting to observe. Because I'm like, wow, you guys are deeper about this poem than I ever was. So that's fun. But that's the power of poetry, right? Like, I write something because it means something to me, and you're going to understand the specific meaning or my intentions more if you know me personally, you know my experiences, you know the way I think. But then, as a total outsider to the reality experience of knowing Rochelle, you will find some totally other way to connect it. I've even really enjoyed watching tarot and oracle card readers, or like medium kind of people receiving messages and downloads recently, because I have my experience that I connect to what they're saying, and there's like a vague specificity, gosh, that really comes up in how they're presenting information, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I get that, yeah, all right, yep, and and I have my own story attached to it, but then seeing what other people's stories are that are totally the same, from the same exact words, same reading, but very different experiences. And I'm like, what? I wouldn't have even thought to relate what they're saying to that situation if that were going on in my life. Yeah, it's wild. Human perspective and different experiences. Wow. I don't think I came on planning to say any of that. I had some like vague plans for what I was going to talk about today, and we'll probably shift back into those once I have some tea, because I need some tea. I've been awake for I don't know, a couple of hours and no tea. It's awful. Just feel for me for a second. Okay. All right. I think I wept. I gotta say, it sounds a little different. I'm wearing different headphones to hear and record this with, because the other ones needed a charge, and I only started charging them last second, and then I saw another pair of earphones, not usually my recording ones. So okay, you guys will do the job. You'll work. Dong ding. I got a roasted dong ding. Oop, sorry if you had to hear that rumble. Okay. A 2018 old man dong ding traditional oolong from Dongding, Taiwan. Yes, English speakers love to mix that up. Ding dong. No. Okay. It's dong ding. But I did that for your pleasure. Dongding is a mountain in Taiwan, and that's where the tea grows. I thought for a while it was like an area. Well, I guess it's an area, but Dongding is also the name of a mountain where tea grows. So voila. And it's very, there's very different styles of processing. It could be like a lighter roasted oolong or lightly oxidized oolong, but then you got the roasty ones. I'm in love with the roasty ones. They're just beautiful. And I haven't had one in a while, so I'm pretty excited. I found a little canister of the last that I had of this, so hopefully it's enough for a whole session. It usually is, because I usually forget to drink very much tea while I'm recording, because I'm very focused on the whole talking element, audio stuff. So anyways, I'm making my first steep. I already warmed up the pot and put the leaves in, so that's why it started to smell roasty. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. She's a steep, and I don't know. I don't think I even want to rinse it, because I don't want to remove any of the roastiness, Yeah, I'm gonna skip the rinse. Okay, but I'm gonna bring this up into camera so you can watch me pouring it out. Ready? Yes, yes. And for our favorite tea bell. Well, that went through every cell of my being. I love that. I'm just going to talk and keep my eyes closed because I don't think they can open right now. Oh, it was just such a full experience. And I'm just held with a smile on my lips. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm being taken to another realm. Experience of drinking a good tea, it's nothing like anything. The closest is that it's like a meditation, and it is a meditation. It's like, I don't know, peace. Inner peace and throughout the whole body. Emptiness, mindfulness. Do you ever feel like the world isn't really what it is on the surface? You've probably heard that before, and it's true. There's so many things that are not happening that seem to be happening. And vice versa, there's so many things that are happening that we don't actually see are happening. Connection to the divine, spirit realms, and then just what's going on in our hearts, in our lives, in our friendships, and versus what's going on in the world of politics. I'm not so much a political person as much as just being against the grain in so many different ways. That's just what I've always felt to be empowering and make sense and make me into who I am as a whole person. Punk rock has always had my heart, or hardcore, or whatever. I guess I wasn't much of a punk person growing up. I was a 2005 or, you know. So we had a lot of the hardcore and pop punk and different things, this and that. Made up Warped Tour of the 2006 to 2012 era, I guess, I think would be the strongest to say. The best place my musical interests growing up. What's led me. Sorry, there's like a tiny piece of hair. There it is. That's only relevant for video watchers. I don't know. Anyways, but what if there's still more going on? Like, are we actually connected to the spirit realm? You know, do we have ghosts that are actually walking around and being in the space with us? Different dimensions? Is that possible? You know, because there are people who see ghosts. A friend of mine does. And then we also have angels. I found recently one of my spirit guides is actually an angel. It's a person who I knew who died, but he never was a ghost, and I always felt that when I got to know him as spirit. But I'm pretty certain he's an angel. Oh, Jessie McPhee, you beautiful soul. I got a poem. I wrote a poem. And so I'm a little shy, but I also feel like this is like such an important thing to share. So this poem, just to give it a little bit of a background before I read it, I've thought about how there are people that we're meant to meet in this lifetime and who are connected to previous lifetimes. Someone that we love. You know, someone we had a strong relationship with, a powerful relationship, possibly lifelong marriage. Then there could be your brothers and sisters who appear now as lovers in this lifetime, because our souls carry into these new experiences of the human body and future experiences of humanity, right? Like, who knows, a connection that you had with somebody 3,000 years ago might be resurfacing now. Who knows? And you could have had lifetimes in between, or you could have had no lifetimes in between, and this is your first time re-experiencing life together on the same track, so to say. So anyway, I feel very strongly about that with this, with Jessie. So this poem, and then there's more after it. I'm really excited about this piece. Okay, so it's called Soulmates. An agreement made long ago to join together as souls. We held hands, peered deeply into each other's eyes, to meet again in another lifetime. We took on forms to remind us of the past where we met. Ancestry, the guiding force. Two poets destined to see, reveal ancient memories. This love is so strong, a fusion so intricate, we thought we'd bring it back. Unafraid of human error, we chose a divine journey. Meant to meet briefly, enough to see through, the veil you gently lifted, my heart drawn to your demise. Knew that I was connected, knew somehow I could find you. I did. It's love, you wrote, by my hand channeled, not yours. Your body was already gone, yet the soul persisted. I had to pay attention. Pure intuition led the way. Your whispers I was hearing. Suddenly burst forth a feeling, your arms wrapped around me. Human and spirit of intertwined energy. I found you, my sweet, sweet darling. All right, so, I mean, it's really special for me to write that, and just to be true with myself, how much I really love this soul. And he's not on this planet anymore. I mean, body, he's gone. But I love him deeply, and I feel a spiritual relationship, and it's just so beautiful in so many ways. We interact, we have a dark sense of humor together, we giggle together. I feel him wrap his arms around me. So when I first wrote that poem, that was my rewrite, because kind of across 2 pages of a journal, fragmented bits, but then I pulled it together through editing, so I wouldn't read you the original bit because there's just too much. But here we go. That's that piece. But when I first wrote the first draft last week, all right, I just really wanted to write a love poem, and that was the purpose. And then a little bit of experiencing a little bit of fear and like, oh my God, it's not perfect. I don't know. It's not gonna work, but whatever. You push through. You just put down the ideas that are coming in, right? And this is part of the process of writing. Even poetry alchemist. Here we go, right? So let go of perfection. You have a feeling in a moment. I'll speak an I had a feeling in the moment, and so I had to write it down. I had to write down what I was feeling, what I was thinking about, the elements that all encompass the emotions that I will be putting into this piece, right? So everything I meant to say about past lives, about the present, about how it feels, about what the love is, and even like the feeling lost and the journey, right? All these different elements, right? So all of it, we put the original feelings onto page. All of the, like, we can put in bullet points, we can put in images, we can put in whatever. And then you move into the editing process that really pulls it together in a nicer way. So just don't be anxious about writing the perfect thing first, right off the bat. Most times it's not going to happen. Same as when you're writing a novel, writing fiction, writing prose, writing poetry, writing a short story, writing a cover letter, applying for jobs, right? It's not going to be perfect the first time. Your essays. But when you're finishing your essay at 6 a.m. and you need to go into class for 9 a.m. to hand it into your professor, you don't edit very much. You just bring it and you feel confident in your writing skills. Boom. Oh. So, anyway, writing it, having scattered bits, facing myself with the anxiety of it being perfect or not, is like, just don't care, right? I stand up and I look out the window and it's sunset. And there's this lovely, misty rain front the view of the sunset. So glowing orange in the background, misty rain coming down. I felt like that was a message from him saying, thank you. Thank you for writing it. Thank you for putting your heart into this and expressing these feelings, because I love you too. So here's a beautiful image in the sky. And that was beautiful. And I'm pretty sure I was starting to cry from that. And then I got up. I got my stuff ready to go to work because I was working a 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. shift. So, right, sunset is this time. So then it's like not sun setting, but whatever. It was, the color was in the sky anyways. So grab my stuff, get in the car. I pull out of my driveway and I'm up on the road behind the house. And then here I am looking the opposite direction from the sunset and facing the mountains. Giant rainbow, full spectrum view across the horizon. I could see from there. It was like a love poem written in the sky. Okay. That's how beautiful this was. Writing to a spirit that I love. And I had a love poem answered back to me. Which is poetic in itself. And I'm probably going to have to write that into a poem, because the journal entry that I wrote after that was soulmates echoed. So echoing back what I had written to him. So beautiful in front of the sunset, misty rain that looked like sparkles, and turn around and then there's a beautiful full rainbow. If you don't believe in magic, maybe you'll start, because there's nothing else that can explain how amazing that was. Others would call it holy. Others would call it a gift from God. And there are different ways to view it. And I mean, I might see God differently than people who go to church, but it was God for sure. That was just something incredible. Absolutely incredible. filter. Just cleaning out old leaves. Oh, that's cool. Hey, look at me. I'm in a picture frame of a leaf filter. Okay, if you're not seeing this, it's on the video. You're gonna have to go to 25 minutes of this podcast, 25 actually, to see how cute and silly I am in this picture frame. Okay, I'm gonna have to pour out this tea now. And I'm gonna do a touch in this other cup because I like to do a little side cup for spirit to have a cup along with me as I'm having tea. Okay, just thinking about tomorrow, so you better hang on till tomorrow. Come what may. Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow, you're only a day away. My favorite songs growing up. All right, I'm gonna sip this now. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, luscious leaves. I have a little description on this one too. All right, back to the Dong Ding Oolong for reference. When tea is grown organically, harvested with respect at the appropriate time, processed with skill and stored intentionally, you lay the foundation upon which excellent teas such as this 2018 Old Man Dong Ding can shine and be enjoyed by tea lovers around the globe. We chose this tea to show you just how much a good quality, traditionally processed oolong can develop and improve in just a few years. Cheers to that. In the vibration of recently passed Earth Day, I did a little recording actually on Earth Day. It was really nice. But to speak of tea being grown organically, harvested with respect at the appropriate time, I love it. I love how, well, this is from, I got this from the Global Tea Hut. So I really love their insistence on explaining organic teas and what it's good. I mean, it's good for the environment. And then you're showing extra care to the earth when you're using organic, say, fertilizers or processes that are more traditional. We don't want to let go of what we always used to do, and there's so much farming nowadays that is just destroying the earth more and more. Like, why would we destroy the earth with what resources we even have left at this point? Like, why put bad stuff into the soil so you grow bad vegetables and also get sick? It's along with animal farming, especially the farming of cows for beef. Like, it literally, how can you just explain tearing down rainforests for that? That's what's bringing oxygen into this world. And why expand and expand? I mean, also no variety in your food. Come on. I mean, that's just like a shallow comment for me to make, but and so everything that goes into farming cows is also just detrimental to the environment. Like, the excess amount of poop that is putting whatever you call it into the atmosphere, carbon and stuff into the atmosphere, and I don't know, all these things just making it worse. So at least the insistence on organic farming when it comes to tea does bring resonance to all the other plants and how they're also being raised in farms. So I hope more local farmers in every area of the world are more insistent on building processes, sustainable processes, so that we can just, well, eat, and not get sick and die from things that are unnecessary. Like, why is human engineering just become so led into a direction of being bad for the earth? I mean, and that's probably not entirely true. I mean, I'm sure people who are actually studying in universities are studying more renewable sources and more innovative ways of actually dealing with agriculture and everything. However, those who have the money are the ones who buy equipment and who make everything happen, right? So, and that's usually the more evil corporations who are more dependent on mass production and making things grow faster, and it doesn't work long term. It doesn't. But if you're hearing this, I also I recorded like kind of a meditation, like a 12-minute recording on Earth Day, and that was connecting to drinking tea and viewing the environment around me and how everything is interconnected, and even some bits about recycling and renewables, and that was a fun thing. That was a fun little thing. So reach out to me. You can email me at rachellemecca@gmail.com. So RACHELLEMECCA@gmail.com, or message me through my website. And I'll send it to you. Yeah, because it's a fun little recording. I actually also have a profile on the website Insight Timer, and I have a few little meditations listed on there. And it is my intention to actually do a proper series, and it might be fun to do one about tea, actually. But yeah, there's because I do podcast recordings, and then I'll do music recordings, but then there's another element of when I start to get deep and you know what, this feels like a meditation. So that website is there for me to upload those meditations and have a collection on there. The tracks are free, I guess. I think you have to sign up and maybe pay as a member. I don't know how it works, honestly. I'm in the teacher section of the site, so I don't pay to use it as a member. I just put my stuff on there, yeah. So that's a whole other thing to explore. Insighttimer.com. I'll try to remember to put that into the show notes for this one too, so that you can find me and find my profile on there. And then explore a whole bunch of other things, because I was also thinking, because through that website too, they have a whole bunch of different retreats posted. So people who are meditation teachers, leaders and stuff, they post their retreats and sell those online. So I'm imagining a tea and writing retreat. Yes. Woo! Probably be a year from now. But the idea, I don't even know where I would host it. So give me a few months to even dream that up. But I mean, I can dream it up right now. We go somewhere beautiful and we have a writing retreat. At least a meal a day is provided for. And also this includes a whole bunch of ceremonial tea drinking and tea lessons. There's certainly going to be tea lessons. And then a hyper focus on on coming into yourself and your intuition, and writing. It would definitely be mainly about poetry, but you might just be more into intensive journaling and during that time. I don't know. I would probably structure it. I'd probably be more exact about it, but I just kind of like to keep that possibility open, because I know that for myself, I'm not always actually in a poetry mood. I mean, even if you're to buy a retreat 6 months in advance and it's time for the retreat, you don't want to just be I really don't know if I can write poetry right now. You don't want to go there feeling stressed, but I'm still going to make you put pen to paper, and I'm still going to, guide you in that way. I mean, I don't know. I'm just coming up with random ideas. You're going to be inspired when you're there. You're going to be amongst other writers, people who are motivated, and you're going to want to spend that time improving your skills. We're obviously going to be somewhere beautiful, so that you're not just in a beautiful building, but you're going to go out and be able to write by the river or see a deer passing by or a bear, like I'm on Vancouver Island. We got bears. They're usually fine. I mean, I really don't hear about people getting hurt. I don't hear about people getting hurt by bears. The bears will go into your yard. They'll pick through your trash. They'll do stuff. Like, they might cause a little bit of damage, but honestly, they're fine. Like, you encounter a bear and you just act bigger than it and you just scare it off like a puppy. I don't know. Seriously, like, the black bears around here, I mean, they're big, but they don't pose danger. Like, I've been somewhere and then I see a bear in the distance run across the road and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, I'm gonna chill, but it's fine. Well, we got a lot of salmon in the rivers, right? Like, Port Alberni we have a big sign here. I guess it's the fishing capital of Canada. Salmon season is huge. So, I mean, I know that the bear is satisfied with eating salmon. Like, it doesn't want to eat me. Not that I would pet it. Not that I would actually pet it, but they're cute. Like, I want to pet the bears. I really do. Oh man, they seem so sweet. They seem like they would actually be sweet. It's just not something that you choose to do because they tell you. And there's some things that when they tell you not to do something, you listen. And I will do that for bears. It's not like petting someone's puppy. Okay, moving on. Oh. Let that roastiness fill my soul. Oh, my back just cracked too. You can just drink tea and crack your back and stretch. Ah, that's good. That's good stuff. I'm so glad the chainsaw isn't running. Honestly, I was like getting myself ready to sit here and record. And I'm like, okay, come like a quiet space. This is all good. And I'm like getting ready, setting up the thermos and the tea. And then all of a sudden, somebody starts ripping a chainsaw. I'm like, hello, quiet space? Like, what am I supposed to do? Do I have to postpone this? I don't know. I'm just going to give it a go. We'll see. And then, like, it kind of stopped. I'm like, okay. And then, like, just before I came on again, they start ripping it again. I'm like, no, please just be, like, testing it and take your work somewhere else. So maybe they just needed one little cut on something. But just thank goodness it's not still going because I really didn't need a chainsaw blaring in the background of this podcast. I don't know. I mean, you can't help it. People do things in the day, do stuff in their yards and whatever, what have you. But yeah, not my preference. Not as an audio engineer person who cares about the sound. I'm not sure how much it's can be heard actually, because I can hear the cars from the road. I'm on kind of an upper part. It's like, the road's like down here, and then like my yard kind of goes up, and then like I'm here, and so the sound travels up. So I always get the sound of cars passing. I'm just not sure how sensitive this microphone is to hear it. I really hope it isn't. Who knows? That's my own things to care about anyway. Anyways, I feel like there's something else I wanted to read from, I don't know, a journal entry or something. Sec. I didn't fall. The book did. I was very close to falling. I made it. Okay. There is something that okay. So with the I'm just like cutting myself off, re-okaying it. So I was guided to name myself for what I'm for my new services for coaching. I was guided to call myself, instead of a poetry coach, a poetry alchemist. And I mentioned that earlier and I was describing it, but I'm just going to read or share how I'm going to describe this. Poetry alchemist, you say? What's that? Well, words come from nowhere, but they seem to have a source. Peering deeply, your actions are informed. Experiences and memories, the stories you have been told, what's made you meek or bold. Now take a pen to paper and write the first thing you see. Yes, in your mind's eye. Go on. Take a second to breathe. Now share your story, the pain and the love and the truth between. Be still like a tree. I'll guide you to write. Release negativity. Then you will see your inner creativity. I'm going to just like give you a moment to sit and breathe with that and see if anything actually comes up. And I would love if you posted in the comments, actually, if you did start to write something or what that first word was. You can even pause and go back and listen again, but I invite you to share what came up. Beautiful roastiness. I love you. I'm holding a free writing workshop with my friend Rebecca Schmuck, and it's going to be cool. So I'm a poet, obviously, and she's a fiction writer. And we're both working on, we're both going to have memberships for writing programs. So monthly you would be part of a writing group focused on, well, our own particular, styles, genres, right? So I'm going to be leading a poetry group, and she'll be running a fiction group. And being part of those groups, you'll be able to have a community of writers to share your work with, be inspired, get writing prompts, and go on like Zoom lives, together. How often? Either monthly, weekly, bi-weekly. Anyway, so those are gonna be really exciting. But so we're starting off though having there's so many plans in the works, but we're going to be having on April 30th at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, just to kind of work with people's, schedules. It's the middle of the week. So it's going to be a free 90-minute writing workshop. We're going to talk about poetry. We're going to talk about fiction. We're going to talk about writer's block, editing skills, because we're both very adamant on the, well, I was describing the editing earlier, right? So editing is so important to your practice. And so we really want to draw people back to that, because we feel like we write the perfect thing right off the bat, but it's sometimes. And then sometimes you get Rebecca's red pen scratching you out, giving suggestions, of course. And constructive criticism too, that we'll be focusing on. And then also in this workshop, we'll be having some writing prompts. So we'll give you a prompt for poetry, give you time to write it, do a little bit of feedback or shares and stuff. And then we'll do the same thing with a fiction prompt. And so that's going to be fun. So you get to participate, have fun in there. And then as a heads up for the week later, the week after, there's going to be a paid session. So it's going to be more intensive. It's going to be more, even more practical, and you'll just get a greater transformation from what you learn in that session. Will be more intensive about giving constructive criticism to that group, and what are some very practical skills that are going to really enhance or even launch you as a writer. And then also being in a group like that too, of very focused writers who really care about what they're doing, right? It's not just a hobby, not just a here and there thing, but it's like a serious hobby. And it's really the power of investing in that area of yourself is just showing you how much you really care, and you want the support and advice and help from people who are very experienced and professional in leading their lives this way, right? So having the paid session is going to be really powerful for that. So definitely join, and I'll put the link to to the Facebook event. Oh, to the Zoom meeting. Sorry, got myself lost there. Anyway, stay in touch. Email me also, or sign the subscription form on the website, and you can say if you want marketing emails or not, but just that'll be a good way to get in touch, and then make sure that you're going to be a part of that circuit of aware people for the workshop. And the fun thing is that when you sign up for a subscription for emails on the website, you also get a free little writing guide. Yay! So that's fun. So there is a Facebook event for it. It's called Spring into Action Writing Poetry and Fiction Workshop. I'll put all these links into the description and the show notes, so that you can have access to it and find it and be aware. But the best thing also would be to send an email to me, or sign the email thing, so that you can definitely directly receive direction to the writing workshop. Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited. The more I am leaning into doing like writing projects, the more excited I am about life. And just as a quick, I'm just being super real right now. I have been working in mental health services for 4 years, so it's social services. And where I've loved it at different moments, I also have started to realize it is not the path for me to stay on, at least at this time in my life. It's been 4 years. And I don't even have a social work degree. I got into it because I felt drawn to that path, and I loved it. But it's not the work for me at this time. And the whole purpose of writing this podcast is because I love it. Whole purpose of running workshops is because I love it, and doing coaching, my Pen to Soul program, which I really invite you to explore and look into, and message me about, because that as an avid writer, or someone who feels really more drawn to writing, and or serious about finding another path for self-care, you can definitely be going to therapy. Beautiful, wonderful. But also work with me one-to-one on your writing skills and your poetry, and we can even take you through to the path of publishing your book. I personally self-publish, and I'll just guide you through the process of preparing your manuscript and getting everything right, and get everything aligned with who you are too, like this self-expression that's going to go into refining your poems and making the best arrangement, how you're going to lay out your table of contents, are you all these things. But you'll also have me to bounce ideas off of, for me to give you constructive criticism. And I'm I'm also I've also been practicing Reiki for years. I am trauma informed, grief informed, knowledge of a lot of mental health symptoms and experiences. Personally experienced many things too. As a writer who's gone through the process, who's gone through the self-hate, uncertainty, anxiety, whatever. I've been in all these places. So to work with me one-to-one would just be a really wonderful guiding power to achieve these goals and really arrive at your passion. I don't know. Anyways, I'm really excited for everything that I'm creating, and I still come back to my work. I still want to work with mental health. I just have a way different way of doing it. I don't get to work with writing when I'm in these group home environments. It's just such a different frequency. It's a different level of experience. It's not people who are there to be writers. It's at all, right? Like, it's people who are living their lives and in whatever place that they're at this time, and all the respect to it. It's just, that's not where I'm meant to be. I'm meant to be inspiring writers. I'm meant to be guiding and sharing and everything. So yeah, I mean, I have a Bachelor of Arts, so degree. I want to be using that now. I need to be living totally in my artistic realm. I want to speak. I want to be on big stages. I want to perform my poetry on big stages. I want to help people one-to-one. I mean, people just get inspired when they hear me writing a poem. So, or writing. When they hear me reading a poem, they'll be inspired to go home and write. So that really inspires me that I'm certainly on the right track. Like, this is what I need to do. I'm going to be leaving my job soon so I can do this full time. In about a month. So, yeah. It's something I just finally declared to myself a couple of days ago when I really realized where I'm meant to be, what's been holding me back, always having it as sort of a crutch to always catch me financially, because it's becoming like that. And I'm way too much of a passionate being to stay somewhere because it's giving me a paycheck. It's not where I'm meant to be. So that's my truth. No, I don't think anybody I work with listens to this, so I haven't told anyone yet. But it's happening. It's happening. Whew, I'm going to need a cup of tea. I also need to lean back into the tea world more too. I'm thinking about doing tea classes. Also, if you're interested in that, please reach out and message me about doing tea classes. We can go over the different styles of tea. We can go through Gong Fu Cha practices and mindfulness and being present with your tea. That's a really beautiful thing. Even tea and journaling too. That's personally what I just practice in general a lot. But there's so much to learn in the tea world. I can have lessons upon lessons. I don't know. It's like weighing my passions, or I don't have to weigh my passions. I can do tea and writing. But I just kind of got to get serious about one at a time, Us artistic types, we just want to do everything all at once, all the time. And you can't. Well, I can, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe. Whatever. Because tomorrow I might want to get into wood carving. Turn my entire life around and drop everything. No, it's not exactly what I'm drawn to, but sometime, yeah. Making pottery? Oh my gosh, pottery classes. I will be so all over pottery classes once I, yeah, have time and resources. uh, yeah. Obviously, with my passion for tea, I'd love to be making my own teapots and teacups and be sipping from them. Oh, see, it's already exciting. Oh, no, no, just don't give me a, well, do give me a pottery class. I would love that. Uh, so, well, I almost want to like do a summary. What did I talk about today? I read poetry. I talked about it. The class is coming up, so the free 90-minute workshop, and then there'll be the paid session that's more intensive, and then myself and Rebecca will be describing our own individual programs where you'll be working with us one-to-one. So that's super exciting. Depending which way that you prefer to go as a writer, it's yeah, it just kind of gives you, even if you think you're more of a poet and you're like, actually, I think I kind of like the longer form of writing a fiction, say book. Well, she'll guide you through the whole process of writing a book, or if you just kind of want to do short stories. Either way, whichever your passion is. Or if you think you're a fiction writer, but then you're like, oh my god, I just fell in love with poetry, and then you'd then want to work with me. So, so that's super cool. It really would help guide you, lean you into whichever direction. Yeah, I'm also offering a specific poetry alchemist one-to-one session of a 3-hour, really intensive but very clarifying session for poetry writing. So this one is going to be $950 for the session, and it is for transformation. It is for, if you have a poem, a piece that you're writing or that you're stuck on, or you're really trying to discover what your voice is. And that can take a lifetime. If you're just kind of trying things out, or you're not really sure, or you feel like you're not standing out, or you feel like you're just stuck on even feeling happy with your work. If you're stuck on that, then you're just never going to share your work, and then your poetry is never going to reach the world. And that's sad. We need poetry and these beautiful human arts filling the world, because we can take a moment and name all the things that are going bad in the world, and we need more poetry to fill the souls of people. So it will be a very beautiful, intensive session, and there can very well be Reiki involved, and I'll take notes and I'll give you constructive criticism, and I will give you my full attention and mind for this. It'll be very, very, we'll even record this session. And that's something I look really forward to doing. I love helping people with developing their writing and their style. Yeah. And the circle back, so there's a free writing workshop coming up. Again, I'll put it in the show notes. And then there's also that the paid session is going to be $250, and that's going to be about 2-hour session. So you'll have two awesome writers who are totally into constructive criticism and editing, and really helping you harness your own power as a writer. So we're not just going to tell you it's bad. It's not going to be bad, but we'll also, give you some more firm tips and some more ideas of how you can move in a better direction, or something that could be obviously missed, but it's not obvious all the time. You know what I mean? And really feeling into your passion for it. So you're passionate about writing, and we don't stay in school forever. So it will be a really great way to share with people and build a little community. You might end up making another friend out of it, too, people who are in that session with you. So It could be a really great way just to meet some other writers. So it's kind of like a sort of like a mastermind little session. So yeah, it'll be $250 to join us, and it'll be so expensive. So you're gonna love the experience. You're gonna go home with these ideas, and we'll probably suit you up with with another writing guide and some different things too. So yeah. I'm really excited. Like, this is what I'm putting my whole heart into right now. So I love coaching. I love sharing. I love writing. And yeah, if you do too, this is it. Okay. Did I read you any? No, I didn't read a oracle. Nothing. You know what I'm going to do? I don't have a tarot deck in front of me right now, and I don't have an oracle deck. What I do have is a bag of runes. So I'm going to pull the one that needs to... Oh, no, this isn't a rune. This is a little spell jar. Nice. In the rune bag. It's a good reason for that. There's like lavender and roses and a bunch of things. Okay, so I'm kind of just like making sure I touch all of the runes and move them around so that they all have a chance of awakening and showing themselves. So, all right. Almost there. Almost there. They're just swimming right now. You know, none of them are agreeing with being picked up, but okay. It ended up being 2. So we got 2 runes to read. Okay. I don't know what they're called. I'm rather unfamiliar with runes, to be honest. But let's see. What shapes do we have? We got that sea-looking character. Oh, that one's called Initiation. And the other is... Shapes, come on, shape recognition. Separation. Oh, okay. Okay. So, and I put them down in the order of separation and then the initiation. So let's see. Page 98 here. Separation, retreat, inheritance. This is the time of separating paths. Old skins must be shed, outmoded relationships discarded. When you receive this rune, a peeling away is called for. Part of the cycle of initiation, Othilla, is a rune of radical severance. The appropriate action here is submission and quite possibly retreat. Knowing how and when to retreat and possessing the firmness of will to carry it out. Real property is associated with Othilla, for it is the rune of acquisition and benefits. However, the benefits you receive, the inheritance, may be derived from something you must give up. This can be particularly demanding when you are called upon to abandon some aspect of your behavior, a part of your cultural inheritance. For then you must look closely at what, until now, you have proudly claimed as your birthright, whether it is your attachment to your positions in society, to the work you do, or even to your beliefs about your own nature. The separation you called for will free you to become more truly who you are. I love that. It sounds, that really relates to the feelings of this, like what I was talking about when I first got on this podcast. The idea of like, there's a big change happening. There's a portal opening, and there's like really deep growth that is about to just really shine through in the world. All right. And then we got initiation. So we go through our separation phase, make our changes, setting our boundaries and shedding old skin, what have you. And then we go to initiation. Ooh, that's exciting transition. I like that. Okay. Just for reference, so you can actually see these on camera, what they look like. So that's these 2 runes. I know it's backwards on the here. That's actually going to make it look correct, I think. Oh, no, that one's fine. All right, so yeah, this is the separation, and then this is initiation. Okay. Initiation, something hidden, a secret matter. Not heretic. Hierat. I see. Hired heretic? An heretic? I don't know. Or mystery rune, pointing to that which is beyond our frail manipulative powers. Perth is on the side of heaven, the unknowable, and has associations with the phoenix, that mystical bird which consumes itself in fire and then rises from its own ashes. Its ways are secret and hidden. Powerful forces of change are at work here. After what is achieved is not easily or readily shared. Yet what is achieved is not easily or readily shared. After all, becoming whole, the means of it, is a profound secret. On the side of the earthly or mundane, there may well be surprises, gains, or rewards that you did not anticipate. On the side of human nature, this rune is symbolized by the flight of the eagle, soaring free from entanglement, lifting yourself above the endless ebb and flow of ordinary life to acquire broader vision. All this is indicated here. Another of the cycle runes, Perth stands at the heart of initiation. Nothing external matters here, except as it shows you its inner reflection. This rune is concerned with the deepest stratum of your being, the bedrock on which your destiny is founded. For some, Perth means experiencing a death. In need be, let go of everything, no exceptions, no exclusions. Nothing less than renewal of your spirit is at stake when you draw this rune. Wow, that feels so aligned for me. So many messages that I've received recently. I do feel like I'm in this state of initiation. I've been learning so much, I've been growing, I've been planning so much, and I'm ready to let go of my job and dive myself into my creative career because it's gotta happen. And I just know there's so many whispers that something great and unexpected is on the way. Very close. I mean, we have a new moon, so new moon cycle actually is what's being indicated. So if you're feeling that resonance too, amazing. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you. If you're also going through this resonance, I'm just going to name it like that. If you're going through what this is resonating about, I'm really proud of you. You've done so much and you're on the way to greatness and great inner fulfillment that you never thought was going to be there. Or you knew in your heart, but you never really were able to name and time it or pin it down. But it's arriving. Woo! Let's get into this awesome new stage together. Oh, I love it. Okay, cheers. Have a lovely day. Keep drinking great tea. And I'll see you soon.